Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Outstanding in His Field. I'm Pastor Dave Barry, and we're starting this series this year. This new year has come, and so we want to concentrate on trying to cultivate a new nature and a new covenant, and try to draw people to the foot of the cross. And in the last podcast, we talked about Jacob going back home, leaving his father-in-law and taking his wives with him and going home, still fearful of what he left behind when his brother tried to kill him for stealing and his birthright and stealing his inheritance and his blessing. But now he's struggling with his father-in-law and is concerned that his father-in-law is out to get him as well and has cheated him in the same fashion, because unfortunately, the lifestyle that we lead will draw people to us that have similar viewpoints. So if we're a deceiver, chances are we're going to hang around with people who deceive. If we're a sinner, we're going to hang around with people that sin. If we're religious, we're going to hang around with religious people. We want to hang around with people that we agree with, and sometimes when we do that, we're not challenged for change. And so we need to try to seek out people that will encourage us to do better and to strive for more. This is why I wanted to do this series this year. But we started the series last week with Jacob leaving his father-in-law Laban's household, taking the cattle that he believes belongs to him because of the manipulation and deceit. There was all kinds of deals that were being made, and Jacob was profiting from them, and his father-in-law wasn't like it. His brother-in-laws were getting mad at him. So he talks to his wife, and his wives are even unhappy with the situation. People grow unhappy in the situation, and becomes the good ground for us to plant seed in. And so we get here where Jacob and his wives have left, and they ended up getting to a place where they have left Laban's field and Laban's household, and they're gone about 3 days before Laban figures it out that they're gone. But when he figures it out, he also has found that some has been stolen from him. So we pick this up in Genesis chapter 31, verse 19. And it says, Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's. Rachel is Jacob's preferred wife, we'll call her. It's the one that he wanted to marry from the beginning, and he worked 20 years with Laban to try to win her and win something for her. And now that they've decided to leave, Rachel has stolen some false gods and false images. And unfortunately, when people desire change, sometimes they want to bring the worldly things with them. Sometimes they want to bring religious things with them. So this is why we have to constantly work towards drawing people to the foot of the cross, not to our religious beliefs or our doctrines or our church even. We might get them to come to church, but ultimately we're trying to get people to come to the Lord, not to church. I've seen so many people have building programs to build the number of people that come to their church, but how many people actually try to build the number of people in the kingdom? It's a totally different concept. And what we'll find when we do draw these people, and even if they are beginning to do the right thing, they'll have a lot of bad habits that they bring with them. And sometimes you can get deliverance instantly at the altar, but sometimes it takes a process of time, and it takes teaching, and it takes instruction, and it takes caring, and it takes compassion to move people away from this. But Rachel has stolen the false images because she feels like she deserves it. Their father had denied her, and as she put it, sold her in the last podcast, and her sister, and she felt like it was okay for her to take this stuff. But of course, the father-in-law thinks it was Jacob that stole them. So he leaves after them being gone for 3 days, and he follows them for 7 days. And they get there for 7 days. He's been chasing after them and pursuing them. And he gets to about verse 23 here, and it says, he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount Gilead. And God came to Laban, Jacob's father-in-law, the Syrian in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. Don't say anything. Now, many times we get in situations where we think we have to fix it, or we have to correct it, or we have to call people on their ignorance, or call people on their sin or their wrongdoing or whatever. But God tells us in this situation, don't say anything. Be quiet. Don't say anything good. Don't say anything bad. And it's amazing to me that the first thing that Laban did is go talk to Jacob. What a surprise. I don't know why we'd be surprised by that, because we do the same thing. We think that when God says don't say anything, we think he means don't say anything else besides what we want to say. It's not the same thing, unfortunately. So we've got to get to a place where we listen to the voice of God. And of course, Laban goes after his son-in-law. He's mad at his son-in-law. He thinks he's stolen from him. He thinks he's deceived him again after this 20-year relationship of going back and forth. And he gets to him, and God says, don't say anything. Stop. And he's concerned about that, and he wants to confront his son-in-law, but he gets there, and so he gets in verse 25. Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives, taken with the sword? Now, it doesn't sound like he didn't say anything. It sounds like he didn't say what he wanted to say, but he said something. We have to learn through obedience and through situations where many times we want to say something to comfort people in a situation. We want to say something to call people on their ignorance or their lies or their sin or their deceit. But sometimes it's just not for us to say anything. We should just be quiet. We should be silent. We should wait upon God to give us direction, because sometimes we have to be silent for a season, but sometimes he'll release us later. Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist, comes to my mind because the Lord promised him a son and then struck him dumb and unable to speak for the entire pregnancy until the son is born, and she wants to name Elizabeth wants to name him John, and they say there's nobody in the family named John. Why would you want to name him John? And then the voice of the father comes in and says, go ahead and name him that. Sometimes we need to be struck dumb so we don't curse our situation or someone else's. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and God wants to bring change. So we need to listen to the voice of God that tells us, don't say anything yet, or don't say anything at all. It could cause us to lose a blessing or someone else too. God bless you until next week.